Hey guys, and we are live. Yes. Hi guys, how y'all doing today? It is so good to see you guys. Although I'm not wearing glasses, so you know I'm blind, right? Okay. Hi guys, for those of you that are new here, I am so excited I can't contain myself right now. For those of you that are new here, my name is Pam, and we call ourselves the Pam Fam because once you're a member of the Pam Fam, I can't unadopt you, so you're a family member, okay? So for those of you that are joining me either from Instagram via Noel or from Facebook or Instagram, I already said that, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, or right here on YouTube. Thank you so very much for joining the live today. As you saw by the title, look at me, I can't even look at my cheeks. I can't even stop grinning. As you saw by the title, I have a special guest today. We went live on Instagram impromptu last night, but today is the Triller from Manila. I don't have another one to go with the rhyming, but I'm so excited. I am going to bring him in right now. It is Exarmony. Oh, I said Exarmony, but it's actually Harmony Perfumes. The perfumer, his name is Noel Trill, and I am really stoked. He is a wonderful young man that I met just a few weeks. Well, it's been a week already, and I'm doing some sampling of his stuff. And I don't know if y'all heard the story yet, but I would rip the box in the car. I was so excited to get this box. Okay. I was that excited. I ripped the box open. I pulled out my stuff and I started spraying. All right. So for any shits and giggles, to be honest with you, I was cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs in the car because the stuff smelled that good. But before I bring Noel in, let me say hello real quick to who's in his house. I see Latanya's here. Hi, Latanya. I see Jesse's here. Hi, Jesse. Mighty Strong is here. Hi, Carolyn. Hi, Teresa. Yay! I'm so glad you guys showed up. Hi, Chanel. Oh my God. Awesome. See ya. Yes. Thank you so much for coming. We've got Meremeta. I think that's how you say it. Good evening to you. I've never seen you before, so I'm assuming you are new. Welcome. And oh my God, I'm so stoked to see you guys. Hi, Steve. Hi. The Cologne hero is here. Hello. Joshua is here. Hi, Joshua. Yes, I am too. I wanted to make sure that, oh my God, we got a celebrity in the house. Hello, JC. I haven't seen you in a while. Hi. Oh my goodness. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so very much. I love you too, honey. I love you too. Thank you so much for all the support and the love. We've got 11 people in the room. And oh, thank you so much, Mighty. Thank you so much. Girl, every time I take off the glasses, I can't see anything. When I put it back on, it's clear as mud. Well, kind of halfway. I need new glasses. So let's get the guy in the room that we are talking about. Again, this is X Harmony. I say X Harmony because when I look at it, that's what I see. X Harmony. I'm thinking it's like really cool and stuff, but it's actually Harmony. And there's an awesome story behind it. His brand, for lack of a better word, moved me. And not too many things move me, okay? Kriegler moves me. Kriegler, Lovely Patchouli moves me. House of Sillage, of course, moved me. But for a new brand that I knew nothing about to spray the fragrances, and they're not like crazy heavy hitters or anything to my nose, but guys, the story behind the fragrances and the communication between him and the OMG. Anyways, without further ado, guys, let me introduce you to the man we're talking about today. And there he is.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Hi, Noel.
So that was torture. I was listening to Pam the whole time and I couldn't say anything. And I was just like, wait, is this, is that, is this, is that. But it's nice to see everybody here. I also have I have 3 devices on the side of me right now. I have a
Oh my
tablet
gosh.
streaming to my Instagram. I have the YouTube so I can watch it. And then I have this phone in front of me so you guys can actually have me in your interview.
Okay.
But it's great to be here. Thank you for having me,
Oh,
Pam. I
thank
really appreciate it.
it is the honor is all mine. Thank you so very much. Not a lot of people, sometimes you're as a new content creator, to be honest with you, it sometimes gets a little uncomfortable even to ask like bigger YouTubers and stuff questions. And the fact that it's not just you, a couple of other perfumers just recently. It's been a blessing, in my opinion. You guys have been so open, honest about your products, what made you create them, and you're so ready to share, not just for the dollar, but for general knowledge and for the love of perfume. And that really, as I mentioned earlier, it touched me, and I really appreciate it. So why don't you tell everybody about yourself?
All right, so this is why I was saying it was torture earlier. So my name is Trill Noel, but I couldn't take that name on Instagram. It had been taken a long time ago.
Okay.
I think it may have been taken by me on some previous account. I'm not sure, but either way, it's Trill Noel. I am 30. I just had my daughter. She is 1 year old, and I started this brand. I want to say June or May, but I've been working on perfumes for 2 years prior to getting the brand started. And it's been a wonderful journey, lots of chemistry. Like I want to explain to everybody something that most of the community may not understand or really grasp or know. Not to say you guys are, not intellectual, but it's just these things are secret. No one ever talks about it. Like, because you know how secretive the perfumery industry can be. You turn to the back of your box, it literally just says what's in here: aqua, alcohol, then fragrance. Like, they don't, so it's a lot of secrets. And what I was gonna say is I actually do chemical perfumery, and these are the things that I make my perfumes with. So I brought them just so you guys can see, and so that I can be transparent about my brand. I actually use, top of the line science lab, high quality ingredients. They're not just essential oils and something that you could just pick up, throw in a bottle. You actually have to measure those things out. They have IFRA regulations and standards. If you send somebody something without those standards involved and you go to court for a lawsuit, you have no defense because they had a rash or any type of allergic reaction. It's completely your fault.
Right.
So the whole thing about the brand is just so, like, for the past 2 years, I've just been walking on pins and needles, trying to get everything perfect, everything right. And in the middle of all of that, once I launched the brand, Hurricane Ida destroyed my house.
Yes.
That we had just moved in. I bought the house April 20th this year.
Wow.
And we had been in it for four months. And then Hurricane Ida hit on August 29th and destroyed my house. To the point that 5 out of the 6 bedrooms now are like gone.
Wow.
So the house is totaled and we're in the process of having to demolish it, but we're underinsured, so we don't actually have the funds to demolish it yet. Right. And that's why lately I've been doing everything I can to get my brand up, get it going. Because before that, I was relaxed about it. I was like, we have savings. I could just one step at a time. And then it's like, okay, house is gone. We've gone through our savings. Don't have enough money from insurance. And now it's just like all in the air. So a tragedy, but from tragedy, we always come back better,
That's what I was just about to say. Through it all, your passion for what you do, as well as the passion, of course, you're a family man, you came back and you're coming back stronger. It does not, you don't let situations define who you are.
No.
And that's pretty cool.
No, they can't. My soul is a culmination of millions of pieces of other cultures and books that I've read, literature from around the world. Every little facet of my life is like an inkling from something else in the world. Right. And it all it's like a bunch of atoms coming together, and they all come from unique, different places and moments in life. That defines me.
Well, I am so excited. I mentioned earlier, for those of you that didn't come in, that are just coming in, that the way I met him is that I think he came under one of my comments or something. I did like a little reel, because I like to do reels. I find them funny and relaxing nonetheless. Although they're hard work, I just find them funny. And he said something, and then I clicked on his name to go back. You know how you want to take care of other people the way they take care of you. So I went and I looked at his name, and it was like, wait a minute, perfumes. Because some people call their name like Perfumatic, that type of stuff. It's just like because they love perfumes. And then I clicked on his name and his screen. I saw the GoFundMe link. And then I scrolled down a little further and I saw the pictures and whatnot. And I'm like, holy crapola, right? So I kind of was like, oh wow, this is kind of cool, you know, talking, and we just started chatting away, and I ordered immediately without even doing really proper research. As a matter of fact, my research was done because he was telling me what the fragrances are about. I was just like, I just want it. I just want
it. It's true. Like she just.
Yeah, I was like, I want a set. I want a sample.
He was
set.
like,
He's
I'm
like,
on
well,
board.
it has this. It has that. I was like, I don't care. I want it.
I was like, you know, like as a person selling perfumes and constantly doing this every day, you get used to the routine of saying this has this has that, because you know that's what they want to cut dry. They want to hear what's in it. Right. So I was trying to do that with Pam, and she's like, I don't care. Send it to me. I want it now. You said the word Viking. You said some things about history. That's all my vibe. Give me.
I think I heard Odin. Then I heard Loki, and then he said Freya, and I'm like, hold up, do you watch Vikings? You know, and I started like, oh yeah, I want to try. I want to smell these, because those are shows that I'm really, you know, a lot of family time. We spend a lot of time watching those type of shows, and history. My husband is really big into history and learning about how he has, you know, he was in Mongolia. He wasn't in Mongolia.
I've never been. I've never been to Mongolia yet. It is a dream of mine, but life changed and went different ways, so I haven't been able to accomplish that dream yet. There's over 3 million people over there that are waiting to see me. I was famous on YouTube, on my YouTube, and then I ended up on their morning news. There's a video of it on my YouTube channel, which is Trill Noel. And it has me singing some of their songs. I'll give you a demonstration.
Yes.
So like I sang that on YouTube, on my Facebook, and then this tour guide guy found it, and then one of his friends, he sent the video to her. He's like, hey, have you seen this? This guy's singing a song from our country. He's speaking our language too. And so she saw it and she was amazed by it. She did an article. Next thing I know, there was 10 articles about me. People kept asking for interviews. I ended up on the news. There's just like a whole thing of history with me in that culture now. And so yeah. And
I appreciate that. It's very
I have
calming.
fragrances eventually that will be dedicated to them, but they take a lot more time and investment. So I haven't rushed them out yet because they have a personal meaning to me. The Mongolian stuff comes in because I'm part Native American, and in history, they connect.
I actually really love it. When you sung it last night on the live, I was like, oh, that is so beautiful. It's so peaceful.
Thank you.
It is so peaceful. And you know what's funny is that you pay homage, you're transparent, you've never been there and whatnot, but the fact that you took the time to even learn that speaks a lot about your unselfishness to give, if that makes sense.
Yes.
You know, you're very giving, and I really appreciate that.
I dedicated 6 years of my life to promoting their culture and every day just doing Mongolian things and like spreading the word. Matter of fact, I'll show you one thing real quick.
Okay.
I wasn't going to include this in the live, but this was actually sent to me from Mongolia. Somebody mailed me this hat.
Oh,
this is a Mongolian hat.
Oh, I've seen that before, but not, you know,
yeah.
I've seen it like artistic
I
work.
made sure whenever my house was destroyed to go in there. I literally crawled over rubble and pieces of tree trunk and got this hat.
Yes.
And it was safe. It was on top of a closet shelf. I was not going to forget about that. All right, sorry. Let's get back to the perfumes.
Yes, so
now.
Chanel said she loved it. I'm looking at some of the comments. You got a lot of people really loving your songs. The song name is called Altagana.
Yes.
Okay.
So Chanel is Sia. Sia loves fragrances.
Oh yes, she told me earlier.
Yes. She's like one of Harmony's biggest fans right now. I swear.
Okay.
every day.
I'm telling you guys, we talked when we came on earlier to set this up to make sure that I had information down in there. I do have his Instagram in the description. I also have the price points for the fragrances, so you can directly contact him on Instagram, chat with him, and get your own, if you have questions and stuff like that that we don't cover tonight, or if you forgot something we covered, you know, you can watch the live again. But the bottom line is that all of that is there. So the price is in there as well. But today, what we want to do is we want to talk about the fragrances that Pam got and that Pam, you know, wore. I have favorites. Some are just okay to me. The others, I already shared what I loved, so there ain't no question about that. But so we will talk about the ones that are a little difficult for me to, I won't say they're difficult for me to wear, to be quite honest with you, because every single one of these fragrances have a level of comfort. But
well, I just want to iterate to the audience out there. Pam actually loved, and a lot of women have been raving over DIAO and Shinshi.
Yes.
There's another one named Ionari that she loved as well, that men and women are raving over. It's unisex.
Yes.
DIAO and Shinshi are more feminine, but they could be put on. I mean, anybody could wear my fragrances.
Speaking of fragrances, guys, I want to know what you're wearing. So put down in the comments what your fragrance of the day is. What are you wearing today? I know you. I could tell you what you're wearing. I know what you're wearing. You're wearing Odin Sleep.
Look, Sia said it too in the comments. I knew she was gonna give it a shout out. I was waiting on it. That's my girl, man.
I know you love that fragrance. You absolutely love that fragrance. And I'm wearing FREYA today. But guys, Oud Bouquet, IENARI, and look, okay. Yes. See, I mix them too. I love mixing his fragrances.
Ionari and Loki. Interesting.
Yes.
That makes it. I actually think I may have I think it's called synesthesia, where you can actually see colors of things.
Yes.
Whenever I see Loki and Ionari mixing together, because Ionari is purple to me, like it's actually the color purple. When I smell that, I think purple. Loki makes me think of a orange mixed with a light blue.
Okay, I get that as well. I also get with Loki when you're talking about colors, because of watching 6+ seasons of Vikings. I envision wood. I truly do. I envision brown and green wood. And Loki used to do this thing where he'd be talking, whether it's talking to Ragnar Lothbrok, he'd be like palming the trees. Like he'd be like, okay, I need a boat, right? They're telling him.
Oh, you're talking about the bald guy, Floki?
Floki. I said Loki.
Yeah.
Loki is actually from Captain America.
He clearly represents Loki though. Like
yes. I'm thinking about Floki from Vikings, but the fragrance is actually Loki from
Norse mythology. No. Norse mythology, not Marvel. That came way later. I did it from the history perspective.
But when people say that name,
yeah, they will.
They're gonna think that, right?
Yes. So I made Loki before that. So I made Loki before that even came out. Before I knew that was coming out, and then it comes out, and I'm just like, hey, all of you need to know I have a Loki perfume. But I didn't have an audience at that time, so I didn't have anyone to talk to about it.
It'd be kind of cool if you for the next film you put it out there. There's a TV show right now, you know.
Yes, no, I'm very very well aware, because I use that hashtag every time I talk about the fragrance. So
okay. So
so which ones were difficult for you to wear? Let's talk about those.
So I want to know fragrances for me to say like oh my god, I'm in love. Okay, were Odin Sleep, because I had Odin Sleep in the car and I was like, oh my god, I love this, but I had mixed it with Cleopatra. And then when I came home and it dried down, it wasn't my favorite anymore. So I would say the two that I had struggled with to wear independently were Cleopatra and Odin Sleep. When I combine them, I love them. When I wear them independently, they're just not hitting the spot for me. So Odin Sleep is very woody. I pulled the like the mentholated breath of fresh air type of thing with
Yes, I
it.
just put it on. That
Yeah,
was Odin Sleep for any of you
that was
wondering what I just
yeah,
sprayed.
I know you love that fragrance.
Every time it's so there's a lack of mint fragrances in the industry, so my
Correct.
brand is centered around bringing mint and metal to the forefront, as
Right.
well as like things like earth and rock. You know, like nobody uses those things in fragrance, and
Mhm.
I think that's insane because to me those things smell better than an orange. Like I hate citrus in comparison.
Well, I
Like
love citruses,
no,
but
I was saying in comparison to, I don't hate
comparison to
citrus in
this,
general, but
and you know that when I asked because my husband came home and I asked him to smell this, and he was like, "Ooh, it's minty," because it's not something like you said that people are used to smelling in a fragrance.
yes, and
And
that's so
so,
that's the definition by default of my brand. So Harmony is meant
right.
to give you something that you have never experienced before. Every one of my fragrances is meant to be as absurd or as ridiculous or as impossible as it could be.
Hmm.
So that when people smell it, they're not gonna say things like, "Oh, this reminds me of so and so's
Yes,
EDT. This reminds me of this EDP." I don't
right.
want people to do that with these fragrances. I don't want them to remind you of somebody else. I want them to have a moment in time that did not exist, something that is unique and something that only you are feeling whenever you get it. You know, like, I mean, obviously when my brand takes off and other people have it too, it'll be
Hmm.
different. But even then, whenever it's on your shelf with your other fragrances that you may own, it's
Yes,
not going to fuse with them and stay with them and remind you of each other. It's like that thing over there. I know what that is,
yes.
you know?
Now, speaking of that, though, talk about what you put in Odin Sleep, with the exception of sharing, the special stuff.
All right. So Odin Sleep, I actually have some of the ingredients of Odin Sleep. I do not mind sharing these.
Okay.
Peppermint India. This is the purest, cleanest version of peppermint that I could get my hands on. So it
Okay.
doesn't have any of like the peppermint leaf is what I should say. Because
Okay.
sometimes people think candy when you say peppermint. I don't, that's not what I do.
Hmm.
That's more like cinnamon based. That's hot. This is cold, freezing cold, and like icy mint. But it's clean and very, very like straight line sleek, you know?
Right.
And then, well, no, ISO Super is not in that one. This is the vanillin. This is vanillin crystals. Every time I open this, I swear, like I'm tempted to just like drink it. It's the most perfect combination of vanilla that I've ever smelled in my life. So Odin Sleep has 3, 4 chords in it that are chords are the summary of like maybe 4 or 5 different of notes that I just showed you put together. So there's a peppermint accord. It's not just that one mint that I just showed you. Then there's like a earthy grass accord, which is green. And then there's the peppermint and the tobacco. I mean the vanilla and the tobacco and the tonka bean on the bottom layer, which makes it to where Odin Sleep is like this endless, slow drifting. It's like this sleep, this long sleep of resting and regaining your center, regaining your energy. It's
That's what
like
I was
you
just about to
regain
say.
all of your power.
So when I would wear this, I wore it the night of, like I said, in the car. I was just like in the box, like. And then I got home, it was already dried down. And then he requested that I wore the fragrance individually. So I put Odin Sleep on my left arm. And when I go to bed, I mark down what I'm wearing. So I put Odin Sleep on my left arm and I put Cleopatra on my right arm.
This
When
is
I
coming.
got up the next morning, Cleopatra was gone. I could smell her in the sheets, but Odin Sleep was still on my arm. The woodiness was still there. Okay. A little bit of the vanillic aspect was still there, but I still didn't want to wear that to work the next morning. What I would wear this for as a woman, what I would wear, number one, I'm going to mix it because I loved it mixed. What I would do is I would wear this going to bed, before I go to the gym, and definitely if I want to be in a comforting space. Like if you do things like
Yes.
yoga, if you do those type of exercise, if you are trying to maintain your chi, right? I know you have another fragrance with that name in there, but maintain your center of gravity. This will do it because of the peppermint in there. Now, mind you, when my honey, he smelled it, he was like, I don't know, that's too much mint for me because he's not used to mint in a fragrance. But best believe he gets migraines and stuff like that. Best believe you put a little bit of this on, let it dry down, and the comforting will put you at peace. You will be able to write because right now he downstairs writing, and I ain't hearing no. He's calm. I ain't telling him this is what he got.
So she's not lying about that because I'm ADHD, and every time that I have Odin Sleep, it centers me every single time. I could be having a bad day, like with anxiety, stressed out. I'll go put that on and then I'll forget about everything else going on. And it's like, I'm like in a uniform all of a sudden. It's like,
yes,
I'm ready to go out into the world and tell people, bask in my glory, smell me. I'll just go in the middle of Walmart and just be like, smell me, all of you people, breathe me in. Allow your life to de-stress as you inhale this Odin sleep coming off of my body. That's really what it feels like every single time.
Wow. I actually really, it's like I said, it's hard for me to wear as what I'm thinking of my, you know what a perfume is. You spray it on, you know what I'm saying? But overall, it has its purpose. And I think that that's what, once you start understanding this, you would have no issues. Hold on one second. I got to put you on mute on Facebook. I think that that's what, I just realized that I had us on, you would have no issues. Hold on one second. I got to put you on mute. There we go. All right. So for me, I think that's what anyone who purchases Odin Sleep, understand you're going to be at peace. But I got ahead of myself, guys. Packaging. Where do you buy the samples? Yo, look at that. It is so cute. It comes in this cute little box with your name attached. You get a personalized note from him. I absolutely love this. This is going in my little, where I put my perfumes and stuff up there. Yes. Love it, love it, love it. Love it. So Chanel says, I never thought I was going to like Trill's perfumes. When he said they're strong, I was like, oh no, I don't like perfumes. But she's in love. All right. Latifah says she wants it. Awesome. I am so thrilled, guys.
Latifah, I think Latifah has an order coming in tomorrow, actually.
Oh, okay.
Me and her are going to attempt to do a live once she gets her order.
Okay, awesome. I am really thrilled that so many people are discovering not just your brand, but you. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm really liking that. A lot of times we don't know anything about the perfumers, the people behind it, the thoughts behind it, and we're buying it, but we're not really sure why we're buying it. And I think having a connection, like for me and for many others, fragrances are a story. It uplifts you. It does things to you, you know, and knowing the thought process. Now, your thought process ain't going to be mine, but the fact that I could understand that, and it makes the changes of how you perceive a fragrance, you know, prior to. So let's talk about Cleopatra, because this one was.
So for those of you that are,
I still like her a lot.
Cleopatra is absolutely unheard of in the entire fragrance industry, and I can promise you that. The reason why is because my goal in Cleopatra was to make something that was metallic. It has rose oxide in it, which is the part of the rose that smells like iron. Literally, whenever you grab iron, iron doesn't have a smell, but the interaction between your skin heating up the surface creates little like aroma particles, and it makes the fragrance come off of the metal that isn't there until your skin interacts with it. It's like a catalyzation that takes place, and it causes oxidization. So in rose, there is something called rose oxide, and I have that ingredient concentrated in one of these little bottles like this. Well, not little, but it's metallic. And I have a metal accord in Cleopatra sitting on top of a sandalwood accord. And I'll tell you one of the ingredients in the sandalwood accord. It's called sanginol, SANJINOL. You can look it up to see what it is. Those of you that are interested in actually knowing the ingredients that people never tell you are in things. Sanginol is one of my sandalwood ingredients. And then I have a peppermint accord in there. Then I have a geranium accord and a rose accord. And then there's some supporting base notes, but they're not an accord. They're like individual notes that I added. But
I'm
the
gonna type
major
in.
factors are
I'm
those
gonna type
ingredients.
in your actual website so folks can go in there and play around. Can you
Yes.
type XARMONY or
It,
Harmony?
yeah. So it's XARMONY.net. Harmony.net.
I just put it into the comments, guys, for your. And also, I put his Instagram in the description so you can copy and paste that, or you can please go over and follow him on Instagram. If you type in Harmony, you'll see it. X and Harmony, you'll see it. You'll see him, and as well as Noel Trill. You see he's on there as well there. But whew, I actually really like Cleopatra. I won't say she's that hard to wear. I just have a hard time because I already sprayed her and Odin Sleep together. So
I
when
know,
Odin,
right?
huh?
I said, I know, right? Like it's hard to
Yeah,
go
now
back
you
from
told me
that,
don't
isn't
do
it?
it, and I don't want to wear her like that. I want to wear her together. I mix these two together.
Oh, hey, look, I have no problem with you wanting two full sizes. I'm not gonna tell you not to do that.
I have 3 bottles already in my head that I want.
Oh man, that's a blessing.
3,
Thank you.
okay?
Thank
And
you.
actually there might be a 4 after today.
Oh God.
So the next one
That's gonna be my I've never had an order that big.
I'm
This
just
will be
saying.
interesting.
So the next one I want to talk about is the one I wore today. It's my fragrance of the day, and I sprayed this on. We went for a photo shoot to do a photo shoot this morning. There's a fruit in Trinidad called Pomsite. And when I smelled this, initially I was like, does this smell like pomegranate? And I'm like, no, this smells like something that is very hard to come by. And that's what the fruit is called. It's called Pomsite.
Yes.
And this is what, I'm not saying Pomsite smells like this, but it reminds me of it. And there's no perfume with Pomsite in it. Let me just put it that way. But I really enjoyed this. I wore this out this morning. I sprayed it on. Let me see. Take my watch off for a second. And I can still smell it on my arm, but it has died down to a beautiful powdery, again, your fragrances, dude. Comforting.
See, I don't know how people, that was never in my, so when I made all of these fragrances,
Yeah.
then again, I could kind of understand it, but I didn't have the word comfort as an intention in any of them.
Right.
But I also made them as things that made me satisfied and happy, which probably would have been the things that comforted me.
Right.
Because mint, I don't know why. It's just like, I think it's something to do with being ADHD. I honestly think
It
that
could
there's
be.
something in the chemical structure of my DNA that makes mint just like always hit me. It's like to say if this was a human 10 million years ago, the same thing would have happened. It's like a primal connection to mint for me. It could have something to do with my DNA being from Africa. It could have something to do with being part Native American, part French. I don't know. Because I've had a lot of people that are African American tell me they love mint as well. And early on, I had a lot of people that were gravitating towards Odin Sleep that were African American as well. And I thought it was like this conspiracy consensus thing. So then I started researching like, you know, the dermatology of skin and fragrances together. And I actually started noticing and reading information that said fragrances work different based on your skin and your race and your genetics. So it's like at that point, I really got in depth with my fragrances, and it was like, oh man, this is cool. I feel like such a scientist now. I'm like, I'm gonna do this. This one's gonna work so good for like a white girl. She's just gonna put this on, and she's gonna be like, you know, just jamming it out when she puts this on. I'm not telling y'all what fragrance that is, but I've done that with some of my fragrances.
Well, I agree with the there was a discussion on Facebook earlier to speak about that. And I do have, you know, body chemistry is what makes up the components of our skin color and all of that good stuff. And it can get one way or another where people go all kind of crazy about it. But there is a difference in the way our bodies react to certain things. So that's true. But Freya, she is on my skin right now. I can still smell her. The shirt I had on previously, you could still smell it on that. You can still smell Freya on that. And it's actually, like I said, it became a skin scent. But when I sprayed it on initially, About 5 minutes later is when I had my husband try Odin Sleep. I brought him in. I was like, I need you to try this fragrance before I go live today and before I leave the house. And oddly enough, when I first sprayed Frey, he was like, it's all right. And then he smelled Odin Sleep. He's like, mint, da 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 da. I was like, yep, that's what it is. That's what it is. And he's like, I don't know if I like this, da 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 da. And then he's like, let me smell Freya again. And so he smelled, because I had it on my chest also. He smelled, he's like, ooh. Ooh, I said, get off me, dude. I got places to go, you know, but he actually, you could tell he's like, yeah, it does have that comforting vibe. So it's a really, in my opinion, get your guys' hands on those sample kits or the rollerball. I told him, Mighty said that I would, if you look at the comments, she says, I will buy you out. And I will, but those are the rollerballs. And although I am not a big fan of rollerballs, one of the things he shared with me last night is that when I love the act of spraying. I just love that act. I love the act of spraying fragrance all over me. Is it wasteful? Yeah. If I spend $500 on a bottle of Kriegler or a bottle of Raja Dove, I don't want to do that. That doesn't make any sense. Fiscally responsible, I am not. So, so he's like, you know, you got to use the rollerball because when you put it on your skin, it actually absorbs better into your skin, especially if it's fragrances, if your skin eats fragrance, which mine does. My skin eats fragrances. So that's
so
just
like
you guys.
So like the thing about a roller is that it's actually putting concentrated, like it'll do a concentrated stream across your arm. For me, with these fragrances, I literally just rub one line on both arms and I will smell it there tomorrow. I'm not joking. That's not an exaggeration. I have no fragrance that will leave your skin by tomorrow because I don't release those. I've made those,
but
they don't become part of the line. It has to be able to pass my longevity test, which is like past 8 to 12 hours. So there's one fragrance that I have called Wallace, which had unexpected results. It broke the mold for me. Wallace ended up going 16. No, I stopped counting at 16 hours because I went to sleep. It was 16 hours later and Wallace was still going like this high off my arm.
So you had a lot of sillage and projectivity with it.
Yes.
I just sprayed a little bit more Freya on me. She's so cute, y'all.
So Freya is a very, very unique fragrance. Freya actually is one of the only fragrances I have where I've attempted to use honey. And to be more specific, I use what people call honeysuckle, which is like it's caprifolium. It's Lonicera caprifolium is the name of the plant that it's extracted from.
On the skin, I could get what you're saying about the honeysuckle a little bit, but off the nozzle, I get pomsite.
That I don't know what that is. It sounds beautiful though.
It's a fruit in Trinidad. We make curry with it. We make pomsite. It was anchar, which is an Indian dish. We use it to put as a side dish for roti.
So are you getting the chai vanilla accord?
I get yes, I do. If you had not remember, I told you I did not look at any of your notes because I wanted to go blind.
But yes, you are my most valued customer because I love people that come in blind. Those people mean so much more to me because I operate that way naturally. Me being ADHD, things are like, just random at all times. And I go into things blindly. So the people that are doing that with my brand
get a little turned off by that because for whatever reason, but
because they're usually let down by like those generic brands or those other brands out there that are just like, oh yeah, our fragrances are amazing, but it's like all we did was take a skeleton of David off cool water and we threw in vanilla and cedar, right? And it's like that's not really. If I bought that as a blind buy, I'd be upset. But with my fragrances, if you buy them as a blind buy, the thing that attracted you, either it was the story, it was the name, or it was the presentation. All of that is tied together because I make all of it. I brand, create, design, think, all of it. So all of it is intentionally like linked together. There's no transfer of my thought to some other human with, translation loss.
Right.
It's literally all directed. So if it grabs you blindly, that means that it's going to hold you blindly as well, which a lot of fragrances in the industry don't do that. But I encourage people to blind buy a lot of my fragrances. That's the best way to experience the full depth of what I create, because it's not going to let you down. And even if it does, it's going to be something that's profound and different to the point that you'd have a new experience, but maybe you don't particularly want to wear that fragrance, but you will see that it was something that you've never smelled before.
I would tell you that I've been sniffing my arms all day, pulling my shirt all day. I love it. So another aspect to your fragrances is the fact that, and you yourself mentioned it just a few minutes ago where you said clean. You used the word clean. And I mentioned that to you as well. Two things that come to me, it's like the Chanel CCs. Maybe I could use that as a reason to get my husband to buy me some Chanel. Comforting, clean. That is one thing in all your fragrances across the board that I'm getting, that it's not muddled. It doesn't feel thick and heavy. It doesn't feel overly complex. It doesn't feel like you threw a whole bunch of stuff in there. None of them so far. I would say that perhaps they're a little more linear, where, as you mentioned what the note is, I go, yep, I could smell that. Yep, I could smell that too, but it's beautifully blended. It's not screechy. The only thing I would say is the mint is going to throw folks off.
Yeah, I was about to say, so FREYA, as much as you're smelling it right now, has mint, but I didn't put it at Odin Sleep's level.
Right.
Because for me, mint is very to me, what mint does and the way that I use it in my fragrances is to create a giant aura around someone.
Right.
Because when I thought of making Odin Sleep, it's what I wanted in a fragrance. I wanted something that you see, like how I look presentable and dressed right now.
Right.
There was no fragrance that gave this vibe. There was nothing as because I'm in a loud red shirt with some loud red shades. I have these jade gold wristlets on. That's big. You're not gonna see another guy wearing this in the city. You're not.
Right.
Okay. So it's like I need a fragrance that does that. And I spent I want to say about 15 years of my life looking at fragrances trying to find that, and I did not reach it. So when I made Odin Sleep, I needed something that gave me that vibe, that big energy that I feel like I actually have.
Right.
But to people that are just smelling it, because some people interpret things differently. Correct. You may understand me through smell, but not through voice.
Right.
You may hate the way I speak, but love the way I smell.
Right.
So Odin Sleep was the bridge of my life that I was able to cross when I got to it. Because the peppermint that I use in there is meant to make this giant aura, and it's like this bold, strong, powerful energy. To me, that's like the level of masculinity that I'm trying to give off as a guy, as a father, as a man, as a CEO, as an entrepreneur. It's like I need that. That's what I want.
To be honest with you, a lot of folks kind of like me initially. Well, no, initially I loved it, like I said. But when I wear it separately and I could smell the mint initially. If you are used to smelling, you have a certain thing in your head of what a gourmand smell like, or you categorize, you put things in certain boxes. I will tell you, these fragrances are not to be boxed, okay? You can't put baby in a corner with these things, all right? They are individually, they stand on their own, but they blend beautifully together as well. So let's move on to the next one, because now we're about to the next 5, which are on my Christmas list.
Uh-oh. Oh, this is on the Christmas list? Oh, man.
It's on the Christmas. I know I'm not going to get all 5, right? But I'm trying. So, of course, we talked about this one earlier. I was thinking Floki, but it's actually Loki. And I really like this fragrance a lot.
Yes.
I really do. I can smell it. I wore it last night, after stuff. I wore it. I took a shower, and this was what I wore on my right hand, my right arm. And I came back downstairs and I sprayed more on me, and I went into the movie room because I could smell a lot of it. I went into the movie room to watch some shows with my husband just to see if he would say anything. Oh, it's too loud or whatever. And he said nothing. And I said, after like 30 minutes, you smell my perfume? And he's like, mm-hmm. And that's a good thing because he gets migraines. My daughter gets some serious migraines as well. So when I buy fragrances, although I want to be really offensive to everybody and I want to smell how I want to smell, but I have to take those things into consideration. This is comforting as well. I could definitely smell the peppermint. And when you think peppermint, you're going to think the candy, the Christmas candy type of thing. But once it dries down, this is just from the nozzle. Once it dries down and it mixes with your body chemistry, you'll see that there's a difference. There's a difference to what you smell on the nozzle to what is on permeating.
Yeah, so I want to speak on that note if you don't mind me interjecting. So I rarely mention that about my fragrances because I thought that it was just naturally understood that like somebody who's actually like making the perfumes themselves just does that. But a lot of people don't know that. So my fragrances actually have naturals in them, and naturals are the only thing that actually interacts with your skin chemistry. Right. Synthetics are pure like molecules. They work one way. A natural is a combination of like a mixture of molecules. So when you're putting something natural on your skin, it will have different results from person to person. So none of my Cleo and Primal are like almost purely synthetic. So they might not have an adverse reaction between person to person. Right. But the 11 fragrances from generation 1, all of them have a mixture of synthetic and natural in them. So they will be different from person to person, and it's not going to be the same in the nozzle as it is on your skin. That's just how naturals work. But my fragrances aren't natural like 100%. Naturals are actually weaker than synthetics. If anybody ever tells you otherwise,
that's very true.
They're lying to you. They're like eating the hype of, you know, being green, being natural. It's not the truth. Like naturals could last long, but they'll project like a few inches. And they'll go for some period of time. But this chemical over here in this bottle, this vanillin has like 300 to 400 hours of longevity as a chemical. That's without the alcohol. I have one chemical that goes for 3 months on a piece of paper. 3 whole months. That's a synthetic. There's no natural that does that. None.
That does that. That's true. And naturals tend to stick to your body closer. They don't project as much. So I want to say hi to a lot of folks that showed up and I didn't get a chance to say hi to them. So let's see. I think I said hi to Joshua already. I've got D'Angelo's in here. Hi, D'Angelo. I think we already said hi to Chanel. Fortunata is here. Hi. We've also got Miss Nika Marks. Now, Nika is also a friend of mine who does reviews. And she does.
Oh, man. Like, okay.
Yeah, she does.
So you're setting me up here.
I can't afford the stuff Nika buys, okay? I need to work for Nika so I can buy the perfumes Nika buy.
Oh, okay. So I need it. Okay, so wait. So that's the sugar mama right now.
That's my sugar mama.
She needs to be mine too.
Now, Nika, how I met Nika, I was researching unique fragrances. That's all I popped up on House of Sillage, and that's how we met. And she's also from the Caribbean, so we have that, you know, familiarity and love as well. But she researches for fragrances that has different flavors and stuff like that. She's not someone that just jumps on the ordinary. So I really enjoyed that about her. D'Angelo, Courtney, I thought I saw Courtney in here as well. Courtney's also like that. She likes vintage fragrances, which I really absolutely love about her because she reminds me of things that I used to love smelling when I was younger.
Okay, so Courtney will want to check out La Boussée. It is one of my only like actual. I wanted to make something that smelled vintage French with that one. It smells like aristocratic bourgeoisie French vintage.
Is it LABOUSSE?
LA space BUSE. It's the name of a French pirate that actually existed.
Okay.
And the fragrance is based on his life, the areas where he was, and the things that existed around that time. I used ingredients that actually he would have encountered and dealt with in that fragrance. Okay. So it's really accurate.
Somebody said 6 days on Shinshi. Where is that?
On paper.
On paper. Oh, okay. Oh, guys, please don't forget to thumbs up the video. The way you look, I really hate running down algorithms, but I have to. Please thumbs up our live. It lets YouTube know that, you know, people like us, they show up, and they like chatting. So we talked about Nika that's here. I want to make sure that oh, Nadia is also here. Nadia is also here. Where is she? There she is. Nadia is also here. Hi guys. Thanks so very much for joining. And on Facebook, I saw that a couple of people popped on. My friend Haley popped on. Misty Covey popped on. Thank you guys so much for popping on. Let's see here. And I think we caught everyone up. We're up to that. So let's move on to the next fragrance. Another favorite of mine, guys, is a WALLOWA.
Oh, so WALLOWA is a special thing that I'm about to actually, I saved it intentionally until this week coming up. WALLOWA is a Native American word, and it's a Native American homeland of the Nez Perce. They were forced to leave the homeland whenever, what was it, the war and everything going on, and they were settling the land. They forced them off of the land. Chief Joseph was the chief at the time, and he led them. And they were they fought back, and they ended up, I think, killing like thousands of American troops while only losing like 20 of theirs. It was insane. Oh, wow. And they called him like a military genius, even though it was Native American and they were using like primitive weapons and technology. But they were able to get some guns from the troops and then use the guns against the troops. But long story short, they forced them to move to Washington, and WALLOWA is in Oregon. So they were never able to go back to their homeland, and their tribe, their reservation is in Washington, but WALLOWA is their homeland.
Okay.
And so Chief Joseph spent his entire life fighting to take his tribe back to that land. And he died, and they're still not back on that land. That land isn't theirs today. And so for what WALLOWA meant to me was like the longing to be home, the longing of a intense spiritual journey, like, because whatever they went through, for him to go through all that, to watch his people starve to death in the mountains, to watch them be forced out of what they knew as home for thousands of years,
right,
and then be forced to live here and can't go back. Right. That was something that took a tremendous soul, a tremendous spirit, and he never gave up hope, and he died still never giving up hope that they will be able to go back someday. So his soul is still longing to be back at that place, and that is what that fragrance is for me. That's what it meant to my soul.
It's beautiful. I do pick up woodiness in here. Yeah, I do pick up some woodiness.
So WALLOWA has a couple types of wood in it, actually.
But it's pretty. It's not like dry, and it's not wet. Like I love one of Mugler's fragrances that not a lot of people like, which is Aura. That smells like, to me, it gives me wet, beautiful, mossy grass that you're walking in through a jungle or a beautiful elfish type of, vibe. I'm not an elf, okay? But I'm just saying that's kind of how I'm thinking. And although my ears are kind of pointy, but my thought process when I smell this, I smell the wood, but it's very, very pretty. Like I smell the wood and I smell natural flowers, probably culminating as you're walking through a woody environment that is very relaxing. And again, I have to use the word comforting with these fragrances because if I am having a bad day, I tend to pull to fragrances. I will take a shower and change my fragrances out because it may create a certain vibe that I'm not really going for at that moment. But this is really pretty. It's one of my faves. It's not my fave, but it's one of my favorites. So let's see if we have any more. I don't see any more new comments.
So Josh said he actually lives where some of Chief Joseph's people work.
Wow.
So Josh, you have to get my fragrance out there, man. You gotta, because I've actually reached out to the tribe and some of the people and tried to tell them about my brand and my fragrances, but
yes,
for the most part, it's like, there's some random solicitor in my inbox. Ignore.
Well, I will tell you that everyone that's in the chat room right now, they are diehard fragrance lovers, and I mean every single one of them, including the folks that are new here, like Josh. I can tell you guys are diehard fragrance lovers, and those of you that's been here for a long time, like D'Angelo and Mighty, and I just saw Marilyn pop in. Hi, Marilyn. I saw Marilyn pop in. These guys, I tell you, they're diehard fragrance lovers. And
let me just say, I have a lot of respect for them.
Okay, so I don't know if this is the kind of party we run on this side of the Pam Fam, right? We like bougie stuff, but we let you know that we're not bougie enough where we can't go to Walmart and buy a $5 t-shirt. Okay. And what we don't like is because there is some of it in the perfume world, for lack of a better word, uppityness, you know. And
Yeah.
we don't roll like that. We like what we like. We love fragrances, we love scents, we respect people's differences here.
Yes.
We don't talk down to people over here about if they don't like something or whatever. If you smell something different, you smell it. If you don't like something, like Nika don't like my favorite perfumes, that's okay, because when I visit Nika in Alaska, I know I'm gonna get my favorite perfumes out of her perfume
She's,
cabinet.
oh my God. Wait, so she's in Alaska? My
Yeah,
line
she's
two
moving to
frag.
Alaska.
Oh my God. So I have my daughter's named after the Aurora Borealis. My daughter's
Oh,
name
that's
is
right. Yes.
her name is Auroricia in Kana Noel. There's a long story about it on my page, but I dedicated 2 fragrances to her. One of them is called Ia. It's related to the Native American tribes in Alaska. And the other one is called Equinox or Boreas. And there's a third one called Kione, which is like Alaskan winters. All
Yes.
3 of them. But they're not released yet. Those are projects that are still being reworked. I just wanted to mention it.
Of that, so to be honest with you, Harmony has 3 iterations, right? So we're just getting to know Harmony, but these that I'm talking about are from which generation? Generation 1, 2, or 3?
Generation 1. Well,
Generation 1.
Cleo is generation 3.
Okay.
Generation 1 is all the fragrances that are listed on my Instagram. I have another Instagram, but I don't actually use it. It's just where my fragrances are listed to keep things simple. All 11 of Generation 1 is listed there, and all 11 of Generation 1 are listed on my website, harmony.net. That's Harmony with an X, not an H.
Okay.
So all of Generation 1 is on there, and Generation 2 contains Primal and Cleopatra. Those are still, I'm still working on the branding and how I want to label them and tell their stories. But Cleopatra has a story. It's been posted to my Instagram. It's like at the bottom somewhere.
Yeah.
That's one thing I want to say. If you guys go to my Instagram, don't look at the top, the new posts. Though that's me after I've hit members. I want you to see what I was doing when there was no one around. I want you to see those posts that I started making, even though I didn't have anyone to talk to. Because that's the real way to see the worth of what someone's doing. You know, if you go to their last 10 posts, it's like, yeah, this guy has 1,000 followers now. He's over here like Mr. Big Shot. Look at that guy whenever he started. Was he trying hard when he started? Because sometimes they stop trying when they get up there. But it's like you judge them based on that, but go to the beginning. You know, I'm still trying as hard as I can every day though.
You know, saying that, another perfumer that I respect, and I follow him on Instagram, and he's huge, is Paolo Terenzi. And last week, every single post or comment that I made on his comments, like he would post something and I would say something, both him and his sister, but him specifically, he answered.
Yeah, no, I don't, even if you don't say anything, if you leave like an emoji, because a lot of people do that to me. It's like,
yes,
I'll still leave a comment with words in it.
And that's really important. It's really important to your audience and to people wanting, because we love your fragrances. We want to know who you are as a brand and things of that nature as well. And yes, people, you know, you'll get to be a millionaire, a billionaire. Please remember us when. But
y'all, no, look, so y'all are gonna be like, well, I can't say all my day ones. Y'all are my day twos. Day 1 would have been last year.
I remember your day 2s, okay?
Nah, look, so, I remember day 1 through 5. You know, they say the earth was created in 7 days.
Yes.
I remember the struggle of day 1 through 5. Once I got to 6 and 7, it would have been easy, you know?
So I think we appreciate stuff like that. I know I do. Speaking about appreciation, I want to say that my next favorite, I'm going 3, 2, 1, okay? Oh, these are so hard. These are so hard. Okay. I gotta, ooh. Okay, so 3 is Ionari. Let's talk about Ionari.
Oh man, so Ionari was a beautiful fragrance whenever I made it. Ionari is gonna take you straight to Japan. And I kid you not, you will literally feel like you're standing next to an ocean in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing about that fragrance that won't take you there, down to the ingredients. There's Hinoki cypress oil in there, which comes from Hinoki cypress trees, which grow in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's red cedar, which grows in Japan. And then there's Neophonetia falcata, which is orchid or orchid bloom.
That's what I'm smelling a lot
but
of.
that's a specific orchid that grows in Japan. That's the main player in that fragrance. But I also went further and I did like it's not a Japanese sea salt, but it's an Asiatic sea salt.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't smell like the Pacific, like our ocean. Sorry,
Salty.
yeah, it doesn't smell like oceans around here, like the Gulf Coast in Louisiana. Like it's not that salt. And it's not Himalayan salt. It's actually like an Asiatic salt accord.
Right.
So it really brings out everything about that. So Ionari was a samurai king who was responsible for the planting of those orchid gardens in Japan. He was, I think it was the 11th.
That's what I'm smelling a lot of.
He was the 11th. He was the 11th shogun king of Japan. His real name's Tokugawa Ionari. While he was in charge, he started this garden, these orchid gardens that are still in the royal palace today. The orchids that I just mentioned, he started that hundreds of years ago. They're still there today, to the point that they actually became something of royalty. And only samurai could grow these. No one else could grow these. You had to be a noble samurai to even grow these. And then they would bring the orchid to Ionari and show it to him. If he liked it and it was grown beautifully, he'd give them an estate of land, and he literally raised their status in the society. So it was insane how much they placed on that orchid to me. When I found this out, I was like, I love samurai. I love the history of anything with a sword. And I was just like, I never heard this in my life. And to further it, samurai would go into battle with incense in their helmets because it would distract the enemy for maybe like 0.3 seconds, 0.5 seconds. But I'm a trained assassin. All I need is 0.5 seconds to cut you down. Right. That moment where the incense hits you and you're like, you're dead. That's it. I killed you. That's it. You blinked. That was it. So I really had an interesting time making that fragrance, and it's really beautiful. It has cherry blossom accord in it.
I can smell the cherry blossom.
So I'll tell you the ingredient that is the main central part of that, because a lot of people like buy accords pre-made and they call themselves perfumers too. That's not really making a perfume. You use someone else's accord. For my cherry blossom accord, there's a chemical called sakura, like sakura, salicylate or salicylate. So it's sakura salicylate. That is one of the central ingredients. It's made by Takasagi or Takasago. It's a Japanese, I think it's actually like a science lab in Japan. They don't just make those chemicals. They actually do like medical science and other things too, I think. But that's one of the central ingredients.
I smell that. I think I smelled it, and two places it brought me back to, which is odd because in my head, my experience I was in Korea for a year, and I remember the food, but I also remember the flowers, like visiting the flower. There were some flower gardens we visited. I also visited, I was in Okinawa for a little bit, for a couple of days, for a few days. Ooh. And I also was in Virginia a few years ago for a conference. And I had never seen cherry blossom, so many of it at one time. And I really, really enjoyed coming out of the hotel and just sitting there waiting for the bus. So while everybody's sitting there eating breakfast, I would be sitting under all of that cherry blossom at the bus stop waiting because I enjoyed inhaling the smell. And those are the memories. Plus, there's a garden here in San Antonio. It's a beautiful garden. It's called a Japanese tea garden. But I really, all the bamboos, and I get all of that vibe with this fragrance. But what stands out to me is that cherry blossom. And I'm already in my head thinking of a bath, and don't get offended, okay?
Oh, no, go ahead.
There's a Bath and Body Works lotion that's called Cherry Blossom that I absolutely love, that lotion. I don't buy that lotion anymore, and I don't have to because I'm going to get this perfume. even if you don't
So
get it.
that lotion is actually where I first encountered cherry blossom in a way that like impacted me because my
Wow.
a girl that I
Wow.
used to date would wear that all the time. So it
Yeah.
had an impact on me, like,
Yeah.
you know. And before then, cherry blossom was really never something I paid attention to or smelled.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so at that
I
time,
love
I
it.
got familiar with cherry blossom. So that's that. I mean, different notes will always remind you of something, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But like if somebody's able to say that this entire fragrance smells like, I don't know, Aqua di Gio, that's not good.
Yeah.
Like if your whole fragrance smells like this same thing, but it has like maybe two notes that I'm picking up, that's not good to me.
Right.
So
And I
as long
think
as
that
I'll
what I
never be
really
offended unless somebody says that to me, because it's like if that
so
happened, I
so if
wouldn't
any
even
of your
know how.
fragrances smell like anything else, I won't tell you because I don't want to offend you.
Oh no. I would be offended at myself, not you. I'd be offended at myself for not doing enough research on what I
I'm
created.
just kidding. I'm just
No,
kidding.
I would never. You guys are entitled to your full opinions. I will never knock somebody. I honestly told her the other night, or it was Latifah. Latifah was in here and we were talking, and I said, "Look, I like bad reviews. I like negative reviews." Somebody told me La Bousse smells like a porta potty. Another person told me La Bousse smelled like an old leather shoe, and
Okay.
I was like, "That's perfect. I'm gonna use that to advertise." There are people in the world that when they encounter that in a fragrance, they're like, that has to be different from anything I smelled. Let me try that. I have to see
But there are
what this
people
guy's
who,
talking about.
yeah, there are people who like different things. You know, not everybody wants to smell like I'm looking at my stuff right here. And I have several fragrances that smells like Maison Francis Kurkdjian. Oh, it reminds me of that. It may not smell exactly like that, but at the BR 540, you know,
Yes.
I'm looking, but once they dry down, they take on their own presence. And I think that as a perfumer, you have to have a thick skin as a reviewer, as a YouTuber, anything you do that you put yourself out there, you have to have a thick skin. Do we all have it? No, because I don't have a thick skin. Sometimes I go in my closet and I sniff my perfume and I cry. I'm like, how come I only got like 10 likes on my video? This was good. I spent like 5, 8, 10. Sometimes I spend 20 hours editing something because I want to put it
Oh my
out.
God.
I may repeat myself too many times, or I may cluck because I have a tendency when I'm speaking to cluck my tongue. I may do that. So I just want it to be perfect because I want the experience of when someone, just like you, right? When you create something, you want the experience to be what you're hoping that person has is a positive experience, not a negative experience. So
Yes.
I
Yes.
spend a lot of time doing that. So I'll be going in my closet and, you know, lick my wounds by spraying my perfume that I spent $500 on that ain't nobody looked at my video.
No. So like when I first started my business and my brand, and I was on Facebook before my Facebook got deleted.
Yeah.
Something that I posted, they flagged it as being like COVID or something, and it wasn't even about COVID. I posted something about a rapper, and somehow it
Okay.
got flagged as being COVID misinformation. I was like, what? And there was no way to argue it. So I lost my ninth Facebook, and at that point I gave up, and I'm like, I'm not going back. This is
Yes.
ridiculous. 9 times. I
Mhm.
lost like 50,000 followers the first time. And then I started building it back over 9 times and lost it. And
Mhm.
I gave up.
Yeah.
But
That's what
I
I did with
completely get what
Instagram
you're
earlier
saying.
this
It's like,
year.
because whenever I announced that I was making fragrances and starting perfumes, I got like 2 likes on that post. Literally
Oh
two,
wow.
like 2. And I had
But
over like
you
6,000 people.
persevered. You
And
persevered. We've
so,
got
but I wasn't doing it for fame. I don't
right.
make these for fame. I make
It's
these
not
because,
about fame. I don't think so. Well, I won't say it's not about fame because you do want recognition and you do want people. If I say it's not for fame, I think that would be lying. I don't want fame as what people interpret fame as. I want to be acknowledged for the hard work that I'm doing. Like I mentioned to you, the reason I did why I started YouTube and stuff, it was one platform where I can talk about my child. I could mention Christien's name a million times. Ain't nobody gonna say, okay, all right, he's been gone for this many years. Time to stop talking about him. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So it's my platform. You don't want to hear it, bye. But
yeah,
the thought,
exactly.
yeah. So, but it's the acknowledgement and people watching because it is a lot of work and it is quite expensive. So, you know, I just want to be acknowledged. Who doesn't want to work? Because it is that. This is not a hobby per se. This is work. But it's work that I love coming to every single day.
So I got a question for you, and I would like us to also engage the audience and let them ask questions if they have any
yes,
too.
yes.
But my question for you is, out of all of the fragrances that I've sent you, which one do you think your son, who is no longer with us, would have enjoyed the most?
Enjoyed the most, I would say. Ionari.
And now, is that the one that reminds you of him the most, or is that the one that you think he would like the most?
This reminds me the most. Yeah, it does.
Okay.
Because
so that was a learning moment right there. That was a learning moment for those of you watching. That's just how dedicated I am. That was a learning moment for me as a perfumer. She said the thing that most reminded her of her son is also the thing that he would have most appreciated. So one of the things as a perfumer, your goal is to make something that either comforts, gives nostalgia, or takes him on a journey.
Correct.
And so I have to understand what she just said fully to make sure that when I go to make something, that I understand what I'm trying to do with it. Because if I promise this, if I make a promise to someone, it won't be there because I never actually understood what I'm talking about.
Right. And I think that Ionari reminds me of Christien because of two things. When he passed, right before he passed away, what he wanted to do was he wanted his body to be thrown into the ground and put a tree on it, and that would be the tree in front of the hospital. And he was very disappointed that we can't bury people in front of the hospital. Yeah. But he was very into nature and trees. And if anybody's watching from Facebook that knows Christien, the nurses, the doctors, we all are in contact still. They know that Chris was very into, he would go out, there's a garden at the hospital at McLean's Children's in Temple, Texas, and they would take him out to the garden. And back then it was a game called Pokemon Go or something like that.
Oh God.
And he was very, very sick, but all he needed was like 2 minutes. That's all, to get out there to that garden. And he was really into that. He got into botany right before he passed away. So if you go on my Facebook page and you look at my pictures, you'll see my son with flowers and stuff, mosquito plants, hibiscus plants, all of those things. He was very into it the last year of his life. And this is mostly floral in my nose, but the floral that is bringing me is very close to the fragrance, which is Midnight Rain by La Prairie. And it doesn't smell like Midnight Rain.
Midnight. Even if it does, that's
slight, just that slight. It's the closest. It's the closest.
She said that fragrance, she can't get it anymore, and it's what he loved the most, right?
Yes. Yes.
And if Ionari does that for you, that makes me extremely happy.
Yeah.
Because Ionari is like, it's precise, and it's meant to evoke a deep depth that samurai would have had.
Yes.
Because to be a samurai, you spent your whole life doing one thing.
Yes.
And so you had like an understanding and a depth of knowledge of that one thing that was profound.
Yeah.
Like it was ridiculously profound. You did nothing else.
And the funny thing is, when I sprayed it on, I can't see my light.
Purple?
I'm halfway through this already.
Oh my God. How? It's been like 5 days, Pam.
5 days.
Oh my God.
I'm halfway through this. I'm almost through Freya.
So I'm gonna ask you to clarify that it's not actually running out. She loves it that much.
Spraying. Yes,
because it has tremendous longevity, but she probably enjoys the opening and the entry a lot. Because I do that with Odin Sleep. Even though Odin Sleep lasts like 12 hours, I want the first 3 hours. I want it again. I need it right now. Middle of the day, I want that opening again.
Yes, I actually really enjoyed. I sprayed this. This was actually, I've only been using this 3 days, and I love it. And again, you could mix all of these. So I want to open it up. We've got 2 more fragrances I want you to talk about, which are actually my favorites, and I can't pick which one or the other.
Oh, this is the moment that everybody who stayed, this is what you've been waiting for.
Yes, this is Shinshi and Diachan. Those two
Yes.
are neck and neck. I cannot pick one over the other.
So Shinshi, so both of these actually, like my brand, is like everything is about tools. It's about harmony. It's about balance.
Thank you,
It's like yin
Chanel.
and yang. So
Hmm.
DIAO Chan aren't they're not like partner fragrances, but they're from the same. They're both from China. They both existed in Chinese history. You can look up their stories on Google. You can read about both of these names, and the stories that you read will match what that
Yes,
fragrance makes you feel. I
yes.
guarantee it, because I have been reading about DIAO Chan since I was a child. I learned about her as a kid, and Ching Shi is something that I read about recently, but I had always gravitated towards what she represented. Women that were empowered by their life, by their sex, by their abilities, by their minds. That
Hmm.
has always been something that's been attractive to me as a male. And
Hmm.
so DIAO Chan was my fragrance that I made during the time I was working on a domestic abuse awareness documentary that I myself was launching under my Harmony Digital brand, which I ended up not continuing with. But I was starting. I went to school for like digital art, digital engineering, so I have a master's degree in that. And I was gonna make my own film company, my own entertainment stuff, and editing, design, print, all of that. And my first project that I was gonna use to capitalize on was a domestic awareness documentary. This wasn't something that I chose as like a business strategy. I just
Right.
came across someone's story one day in the middle of George Floyd, in the middle of like a lot of mental anguish around all of the country. And there was a woman who had died, and the guy was writing letters to her every single day, even though she had passed away. But some of his letters were things that were like sexually oriented. And it's like, she's dead and you're talking about how you're smelling her jeans. And it was just, I felt awful hearing that as a male. And the guy was like narcissistic. He was self-absorbed. He was toxic. And it was like, maybe that's why she ended up killing herself, you know? And so I was going to do the project, and I still may pick it up in the future, but DIAO Chan was all of those feelings that I worked with put into a bottle, because the life that she lived was similar. She was in the court as a concubine, as like a dancer girl, and she was under the eyes of two men. The guy who was the emperor, well, he was a tyrannical emperor. He actually took the emperor off the throne, put himself on it. He wasn't the actual emperor. He
Right.
he he just stole it from him.
Mutiny. Yeah.
Yeah. So he had a general named Lu Bu, who was the strongest man in all of Chinese history, who killed him to get that girl. But that girl
Wow.
wanted neither one of them. That girl wanted freedom, which is
Right.
something that a man can never offer you as a woman. A woman's freedom comes from herself, just
Right.
like a man's freedom comes from himself.
Right.
And so, you know, even though she wasn't in that tyrannical guy's holds anymore, she was in this dude's holds now.
Yes.
And
So
so
she's still
DIAO
in the
Chan
same
is a
boat.
caged, she is a caged bird, and that is what that
Right.
fragrance smells like. It's the moment when a woman chooses to fight back and get out of that cage. Does
So
it
what are
does
the
it give you
notes?
that feeling?
What are the notes?
All right, the notes in, let me get
Because it
to it.
doesn't give me a cage feeling. It just gives me and I wouldn't say unadulterated sexy. I would say understated sexy. Like, you put it on and imagine yourself, guys. Imagine yourself, man or woman. Imagine yourself, you dressed in a suit. You're not out there with your everything out showing and all of that kind of stuff. And you are just sexy looking, in your high neck top or whatever the case is. That scent is that. It's very sophisticated. What are the notes?
All right, all right, so basically, to extend that, because she isn't just a caged bird. The fragrance is meant, her life, she's actually known today as one of China's 4 greatest beauties that ever existed.
Oh, wow.
So like, underrated sexy is the exact definition of what she's historically sexy.
Wow.
So it's like, she's like above what a queen would be. The other women are queens that are the greatest beauties, but she wasn't a queen. She
No.
just happened
People
to
killed for
overturn
her.
like the future of an empire, because
Mhm.
she's the reason those 2 men fought each other.
Right.
She used her mind to tell this guy, he put his hands on me, and to tell this guy, he did this, and the two of them came together, and she took two birds out with one stone. But so she was the sexiest woman in China historically. But the fragrance is frankincense. Some of these are accords.
Wow. Okay.
Some of these are accords. They're not just like the actual notes.
Right.
That's the one thing about my brand that I want everyone to understand. I don't list just the notes. I'll actually tell you the accord that I was evoking. So it's frankincense, black pepper, sandalwood, cedarwood, cinnamon, patchouli, jasmine, cognac, amber, vanilla, clove, and gin.
It's a warm scent, guys.
Yeah, no, it's very warm. You have clove,
It's
you have
very
cinnamon.
warm. There is no coldness.
But it's
like
not.
the
Is
Odin
it
Sleep
spicy
stuff.
though? Like, is it ridiculously spicy? That's what I want you to address.
It's not ridiculously spicy
Yes.
to me.
Because I
It is just
don't
warm,
like super.
Controlled. Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. And again, I have to use that word clean with everything because there is nothing that's cloying. I don't get nothing cloying at all from any of these.
So I'll
you
tell
guys
you
gotta try these. At least try the sample packages. So speaking of that, we got one more, which is Diochan, and then
no, we got Shinshi next. Shinshi.
Yeah. Can you talk about that one?
So Shinshi and DIAO Chan are both from China, obviously, but Shinshi was today Shinshi would be your OnlyFans sex worker that's trying to make a life that ends up becoming like she ends up in a Lambo. She has a mansion. That's Shinshi. She's bougie. Like she's straight up bougie. She's literally Shinshi. I've said this in her description. She is Nicki Minaj and Cardi B today because they started out here doing this, twerking, doing that, and they ended up here doing this, using this. Now, so in history, Shinshi started out at a brothel. She was a sex worker.
I remember that story. Yeah.
A pirate king went into that brothel, tried her out one night, married her the next day, I think, and left with her as his wife. That's how good she put it down. You heard me? Like that's how good she put it down. Like, Jesus Christ, I'm marrying you the next day. So I just had to give y'all a little laugh on that one. Hope none of y'all are offended by that. But so the next thing, they get out to sea. A few years later, he dies. She's still his wife. She inherits his entire fleet. He was the pirate king of China. He had 80,000 men. 80,000 men now had to listen to this woman. And this was in the 1700s where women had no say whatsoever, especially in China.
But she ran that army.
So, but because it was the pirates, it's a pirate code. We don't follow what the law says. So the pirate code said that she was in command and the men had to listen. Yeah. Otherwise, she beheaded them. And if they happened to rape a woman, she would tie them to a cannonball and shoot them into the ocean. That was the code on her ships while she was pirate queen. So that lasted for 4 years, I think. And then it was so bad that the government paid her money. And this is where I was saying she got the same story as the women today that be doing this. They gave her money and an estate of land and her own casino to stop pirating. And said, we will not charge you with any crimes. We will scratch everything from your record and you will live out a full life on this estate with your own casino with this land.
So tell us, what are the notes of this bad chick?
So, well, the last sentence, she made it, she lived until the age, this is why I say Shinshi is my sexy fragrance. She died at the age of 69. Peacefully died at the age of 69. I had to throw that one in there because that shocked me.
We have some questions. We got, let's see. Faith asked a question here. Faith is the Eels lover. She said she's new to your fragrances. What motivated you to do these fragrances?
Oh, so originally I had been trying to find a certain thing in fragrance that I could not. I wanted something that was grassy. I wanted to smell like grass. I literally wanted to smell like I rolled around in grass. Couldn't find it. I wanted something that was minty and cold. Couldn't find. I mean, like actually feels cold on my skin. Yeah. Couldn't find it. I actually made a fragrance called Primal that when you spray it on your skin, it'll feel like you put icy out on. It's going to make your skin cold for the first 30 minutes. It's an experience, not just a smell. You know, like that. There's none of that. Name a fragrance that actually warms your skin when you put it on. You know, like You feel it, not just smell it. I'm giving you more than just one type of experience here. That's how sensual my fragrances are with the user. So I never found that, and I started making it. And after I made Odin Sleep, I made Loki, and then I had this concept of pairing things. And then when I made La Boussée, I was like, well, I need to find a female pirate because La Boussée is a male pirate. So I went and I looked at all the women that have ever been on pirate ships or been a pirate. I learned about Anne Bonny. I learned about what was her name? Reed. She was Anne Bonny's like partner. I learned about every single woman, and I learned about so many other pirates trying to find this. And then I came across Shinshi, and I lost my mind. I was like, oh my God, are you serious? There's a woman that did this, and she's not known in history. Why is she not famous today? And I was like, I'm gonna make this woman famous. I will make this woman famous. And so that fragrance, this is the accords for it. Peach, and cream. You know, every man loves a good peach. Take that how you want. Spiced rum. But this is the secret of Shinshi. Gunpowder. There's a gunpowder accord in Shinshi. She's a pirate woman. How can you not put that in there? Followed by jasmine, vanilla, amber, and ocean and sea. So the amber comes through over the vanilla in there with jasmine. And in my opinion, that is like the richest things that women have in their fragrance industry. Like whenever you talk about feminine scents, those are the richest things that they can offer you as a woman, aside from like tuberose, maybe. But not every woman loves tuberose.
Right.
But it's hard to find a woman that'll be like, I hate vanilla, I hate amber.
Right.
You know, like those things are very calming and comforting. At least I assume they are from my studies. Because I want you guys to understand, when I speak, I'm speaking based on studies and like data. So it may seem unemotional at times, but I'm not speaking with my emotion about that part. It's like vanilla and amber have been home run hitters with women all across the board. And so the reason I put those in there, though, isn't because of that data. I put those in there because that's what she was shipping on her boats. They were shipping these things. They had peaches. Peaches originated in China. Peaches actually made it to Florida on some guy's boat, some random seed, and then we started having peaches in America. Peaches started out life in China. So that was one of their main things that they would have been shipping on these boats. And then they were intercepting ships from other lands that would have been bringing in rum, that would have been bringing in vanilla, that would have been bringing in these things. And jasmine is from China as well. So her fragrance is very, very historically and culturally based. But at the same time, I was able to walk within those confines and create something so unique. It was difficult, I'm not gonna lie, because to make it to where it's true on all of my checkpoints, I'm meticulous like that. So it wasn't easy to get there, but I did. And I'm very proud of it.
Thank you to Chanel. Sia, thank you very much. I see here, let's see. Sia asks, Trill, what is it that smells so sweet in Shinshi?
Ooh, it's so whenever you say peaches and cream, there's different ways to make cream. I'm just gonna explain. I'm gonna mention 3 ingredients. There's I think it's gamma delactone or delactanone. It's like it's milk. It's basically like milk. There's vanillin and there's tonka bean. Either one of those things can be cream. So I have my own cream accord that I came up with that's in there. And then with the cream adding to the vanilla, since as I just told you, vanilla is one of those things that kind of makes cream. The 2 of those are bonded together in there, lifting up the peach. So the vanilla is like lifting the peach to hit you like really hard.
Yeah.
So the sweetness of it comes together like full fold. It's like to say they did this in the air. Instead of just coming at you like one, they did this. And then all 3 of them hit you. So Shinshi is very delicate and sweet, but it has that gunpowder in it. It's like that rebel woman, you know?
Yeah.
Like I'm sweet, but don't push me.
So we have another question from Faith, the Eagles lover. She says she doesn't care for tuberose, but do you intend to continue to tell stories of other empowered women? And I was about to ask you about that as well. That's a question because for my when I went to command course, um everyone had like, you have to write this paper at the end, and everyone chose, different types of warriors or European type, military folks and whatnot. I chose Shaka Zulu to write my paper on. And to some people, that's a fictional character, but there's actual real evidence that he wasn't fictional. And my girlfriend, she chose a queen, an African queen. And it's not what everyone would think, oh, Cleopatra. No, there are actual African warrior queens. And so
The
when I
Anansi.
saw her question, I was like, I was just thinking to ask him this as well. So
So
addressing,
I've had recommendations for that. The closest one that I was thinking about from Africa was the Anansi.
okay,
Um, that was like the and there was I think it was the Ashura Kingdom.
yes.
Yeah, those two things have brought me, but I wanted Hannibal as well.
Hmm.
Because I have Spartacus, I have William Wallace. I have to have Hannibal.
Right.
Hannibal was black, or he was Afrocentric,
Hmm.
and he put Rome at its knees by invading it with elephants. It's like there's got to be something to that there. Like that's just so bold. But
Right.
whenever they started asking about, because I see a lot of questions coming in now, I
Yes.
have 3 fragrances right now that are about empowering women. Shinshi is sexual freedom.
Hmm.
Diao Chan is beauty in the suffering and pain that you have had to go through as a woman through life, where
Hmm.
you reach that moment where you wear it like armor and it becomes beautiful on you.
Right.
Like, you popped a child out of those legs. You've
Right.
walked and you've taken whatever God knows men have tried to do to you or made you go through in life. That's Diao Chan. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart, because I grew up with a single parent mother. And I know every single ounce of the pain that women go through because of that. Even from me as her son,
Hmm.
whenever she didn't understand what puberty was for me and I was rough or I was mean or I was doing terrible things, I didn't realize it at the time how much that was making her suffer even more. So
Right.
Diao Chan is really deep. Whenever I say that fragrance, you really have to try that if you're a woman. I really mean that from the bottom of my heart. If you're a woman that is very in tune with your sexuality, if you're very spiritual and open and sensual with your body and who you are as a person, or if you just need a moment of self-love, that's Ching Shi. That's what Ching Shi gives you.
Hmm.
A day where you just want to feel like I am a sex goddess queen walking through this store. It's Ching Shi.
Okay.
Cleopatra is where you want to feel your self-worth. Cleopatra is where you want to feel like you have divineness about you. That's what Cleopatra gives.
Hmm.
And it's the same story about empowering a woman. Cleopatra went into the war councils of Mark Antony and different diplomats from different countries. They had to talk to her, and she was around all these pompous, I'm the king of this country type of men. You're
Uh-huh.
just some woman, and she's sitting there having them literally trying to bow at her feet, trying to get her attention, and she's
Right.
not even giving him the time of a day.
Right.
Cleopatra is a very empowered woman to say for the time period she did that in. So that fragrance does the same.
So
Now,
I think
when it
that
comes,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
we had another question about Spartacus. Somebody wanted me to say the story about Queen Sheba, maybe
Hmm.
his
Yes,
next. So the
there is.
story of Spartacus is that he was a slave. He
Hmm.
was a Roman slave, and he was white, or Roman, and
Hmm.
Thracian to be exact. But he was a slave, and he became a gladiator. So he started out as dirt in their eyes because he was a slave. So they treated him
Right.
like dirt. Then he
Right.
became a gladiator that was so good that everyone on the council knew his name. Everyone on the streets sang his name and knew his name. And eventually, in that, he was able to organize a slave rebellion that freed 150,000 slaves in Rome,
Holy
black,
mackerel.
white, African,
Yeah.
anywhere. Didn't matter the race, they were just all free under him. They started a rebellion. And many of them escaped and made it out of the country thanks to him. So I call Spartacus the dirt that became a rose. And that's what the fragrance represents. It starts out, the intro of it, like the top notes are very rosy. It's a rose accord. Once you get down to the bottom notes, you get this thing called geosmin and terrasol. They're dirt. Like they literally are meant to smell like the earth after it rains. And the
Hmm.
other one is meant to smell like dirt, but in a beautiful way, not like
Right.
literally going out and picking up some dirt. So that
So
was Spartacus.
we have a couple people join. Hi, Marlo. Marlo is also another content creator. She does beautiful makeup and inspired by colored. She's to me, I love color too. So she's also on Instagram. Please follow her, guys. So any more questions about the line?
We had one where they said if I was going to make any more fragrances about indigenous, African,
Yes, that was
Afro-Caribbean.
Faith.
So
Yes.
I have a fragrance called Busa, which it's available now. I just don't. It's this thing that I kind of keep secret. But Busa was my BLM fragrance. It's related to Busa of Barbados, which you were talking about Trinidad earlier. It has a lot of tied history with that. This guy, this slave, that and all they know about him is his name was Busa, started a rebellion that eventually led to Barbados having its independence and its freedom. The rebellion was unsuccessful. So not many people ever know about this guy or what he did because it wasn't a success. You always hear about the story that was the success. Yes. You don't hear about the failures that got us to that success.
Right.
That's what Busa was. His rebellion failed, but it sparked a fire that the rest of the people of Barbados carried until they were free again. Because a chain of revolutions came after this. And so
I'm sorry.
The second one was WALLOWA. She mentioned WALLOWA earlier in the live. Yes. Whenever this is uploaded, you can go back and listen to me talk about it. I tell the exact complete story of it. But WALLOWA is indigenous. It's 100% indigenous fragrance. It will make you feel like you've actually experienced something Native American for a moment.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Again, all of the fragrances to my nose, guys, I always say to my nose and on my skin, they come off as clean, not clean like a freshie or not that type. It's just different smelling. So please, down in the description, I have the prices for the sample kits. If you want to do that, if you want to do a rollerball, or if you want to get full bottles, if you've already sampled Harmony's fragrances and you want to purchase a new bottle for somebody for Christmas. Actually, right now there's a sale going on, so you will get like $75 off a bottle of fragrance. And the bottles aren't teeny bottles, guys. They're not 30 mils. They're not 1.7. They're 100 mils. They're huge. Okay.
This should last you a year to 3 years, unless you're Pam.
It should last you. If you spray like Pam, it will last you 2 years.
If you're Pam, it might last you 2 weeks, but you know. That's just Pamela.
Speaking of
I'm actually gonna spray this on live so you guys can see what it does. You can
see the atomizer.
So it's very powerful. Mm-hmm. You can actually literally like see it, right?
Yes.
It's really strong. I really love these atomizers. I had to speak Chinese to get these.
So guys, I have a surprise for y'all. For those of you that have been here from the beginning to the end, that is really awesome. So you should know the answer to this. I am going to provide two persons with a roll-on because last night Noel told me that the roll-ons are better because I spray and I'm wasting. So one person's going to get one. We have two winners. One person's going to get one and one's going to get another of the fragrance of your choice of rollerballs. All you have to do is answer these two questions. What is Noel's favorite fragrance? And what fragrance inspired me in reference to my son? That's all you got to answer.
Nice.
And I will check the comments. Please, down in the comments, you got to subscribe to me. If you ain't subscribed to me, what you doing? But subscribe to my channel and put down in the comments. Once this video goes, once we come off of the StreamYard and it goes live, it'll allow you to make comments and stuff. Please comment down there so I can see it. And I will chat with Noel and figure out which one of the fragrances you want to try from his house, the winners. And I will I'll get your information and give it directly to him so he will ship it to you. So it'll be a roller ball, which is, how much is in a roller ball? Is it 10 milliliters?
So yeah, it's 10 milliliters and those are with shipping. It's $40 to get one of those. So they're very
two people in the chat. If you're here, if you can answer those two questions, yes, you will get picked or selected, whoever comes first. Which comes
now,
first
what I was gonna say to add on to what she was just saying about the rollers is I personally, and these aren't the ones that you're gonna be sent, these are my actual, like my personal ones. Because whenever I first started, I used to walk around with this. I would go to like the barbershop, the hair salon. If one of the women doing hair liked something that I made, it meant that I hit gold. Do you know why? Because they
Yes,
dictate what works and what
yes,
doesn't. She
that's
sees
so
she
true.
sees in a week like 500 women in this chair, and she talks about these things, and then those women go and try it out. So
Hmm.
if one of them says this is good, it's good. And you know, as a guy, if I go to a barber and he's like, "Yeah, man, you got to try this, man. The ladies was all over me with this," you know, you go and buy it. That's just how guys are. We're like very linear, but still. So I used to walk around with these. I had this whole case filled. The rest of these are in the room right now. But these are
Hmm.
my personal ones. They aren't labeled. This is just my handwriting on here. I actually
Okay.
have labels that'll come with these things. So yeah.
So make sure, guys, you have to make sure you subscribe to my channel, follow me on Instagram, and make sure when this video goes live, you put it down in the comments, okay? Don't forget to like the video. So we are at 1 hour and 40 minutes.
Oh
And
my
this was,
God. It was a
yeah,
beautiful, it was just
it
such a
was
beautiful
awesome.
conversation though.
It was
The
awesome.
last thing I wanted to say about these, because a lot of people don't invest in rollers. The only
Yeah,
reason why is because they don't last. You can't keep this on your shelf for like 2 years. By the
right.
time it gets to three, not at 2 years, it's starting to wind down in power. But within the first year, this is literally like at 99% strength, you know.
Right.
By the time you get to the end of your second year, it might be at 92. So you're not gonna keep 10 milliliters that long. This is travel, this is portable. You can put this on anytime. So if you're feeling anxious or there's anxiety, you might have a panic attack coming on, something, or you encounter something that day, like this woman at the store gave you a hard time. You just go and you just rub this on. You can take it with
Mhm.
you. That's why I love this. I literally carry Odin Sleep with, well, sorry, I gave that away, but I carry one of them with me in my
Okay, now
pocket
we're
at
gonna
all
have a
times.
bloody another question.
It's
Okay,
no,
how
no,
about
it's
this? Because he just gave away the answer. The next two
no,
questions is gonna be what's the one that reminds me of my son? We're gonna keep that one, and the other
no,
one
no,
is
no,
gonna be
no.
what's my favorite fragrance. Doggone it.
We can no, we can keep that as it was. It's
We can
fine because
keep it?
I never said which one is my favorite, and I never
That is
finished my
true. You
sentence.
never did. You never did. Hey guys, just check this out. So one of the things that I want you guys to understand about this brand is I know that there are a lot of new brands out there. You know, I was on a live earlier today. We've got lots of new fragrance folks coming out, new perfumers because of the love. There is room for everyone, in my opinion. However, the integrity, the stories behind it, the way it's presented to you all means something. And please understand that Noel, he lost his home a few months ago. So you may go, oh, well, it might be a little expensive. Yes, in your head, that's what you're thinking. But the quality ingredients that he showed to you earlier on, the chemicals, the way he works with his stuff, it's not just simply him sitting in his kitchen with essential oils and just dumping them together. And you can tell that with the fragrance. When I say clean, I mean clean. It really doesn't have that screechy, even though he utilizes synthetics, there are not that screech. It's really well blended. And I don't have
Oh,
anything in my collection that smells like these things.
so the
Mm-mm.
other thing that I was gonna say, I never even mentioned this because I don't even mention this when I'm selling my stuff, but I should. It should be the first thing I say, really. Everything that I have can be called extrait. Every single thing that I've made is over 22 to 33%. I mean,
Yes.
is over 20%. I make things that are like 22 to like 33%. I haven't made anything higher than that yet, but extrait starts at 20. So, or you could call it parfum. I call it eau
Mm-hmm.
de parfum for marketing purposes. But
Mm-hmm. They
some of
smell
these
like it's
fragrances
straight.
are up to like 30%, 33%, 25%. They're extremely potent, concentrated, powerful
Beautiful.
oils.
Beautiful. Mm-hmm.
Like
Beautiful.
you will get noticed. There's not one person who's tried my stuff who didn't tell me I had compliments like from random people. I've
Mm-hmm.
had that story come back from almost every person that wore these out. Now, unfortunately, there's some people that get stuff, and I'm just one of those sample sets that ends up on a shelf after they try it on paper, and they never actually wear it out. And that's what my fragrances are basically meant to be.
They need to be worn on skin.
They're meant to
And
be
I
on
cannot
skin.
say enough that they are great standalone fragrances, but they're great mixed together as well. They're really easily to blend. They don't come off. I don't know how else to say. They're really pretty fragrances to me. And the ones that I don't like go, oh my God, about those are not that I don't like them. They're just not in my top four. I've got 2, 4, 6, 8 or 9 samples, I think it is. And I got a top 5.
Wow. So wait. So you're saying I hit it out the park, or at least hit
I
it
think you hit it out the park.
on 5?
Yes, I think you
Oh
hit it
my
out the park.
God.
I think you did a
That
great
is
job on the live.
wow.
I think explaining the fragrances. And again, for me, fragrances for me is different for somebody else. I like stories. I like being transported. I like things to be connecting with me for fragrances. For some people, it just has to smell a certain way. It has to smell like chocolate, or it has to smell like Hennessy, or it has to smell like, fecal matter. I don't know. But for me,
Civet essence.
yes, it's for me, there is something is evoked. And the names, before I even got these perfumes, the names, it reminds me, all of this for the most part specifically reminds me of spending time with my husband or my son, or you know what I mean, because Christian was all into this
I
type of
love
stuff.
that. I love
So
that.
this means, as much as this means to, it may not mean like that to you, but for me, that's what I like. And when I sniff it, especially, oh yeah. And again, my skin eats perfumes, so I have to overspray. Okay. One or
Yeah.
two. And I just like doing this. I don't know what
Yeah,
it is
no, it's
about
fun. I'm not gonna lie. I've done that every time I spray the one that's in my hand, which is my
Uh-huh.
favorite one. I'm not
Uh-huh.
gonna say the name. Every time I spray this, I'm like all
Yeah.
over it.
I love
I
doing
know
it.
how
I
strong it
love
is. I
doing
only need one spray of it, but I want to bathe in it. I
it.
wish I could just have it like pouring out of a bathtub and I could just jump in it.
Yes.
But so the one thing that I wanted to say before I give it back to you is these are $50. That
Yes.
includes shipping. It comes with
Yes.
5 samples, and
Yes.
they are available right now. And
Yes.
there's also a special going on my large bottles that will not be there after the holidays. Now, keep in mind that it's the holidays, so there's a
Mhm.
holiday rush coming on.
Yes.
So I want you guys to try to get these orders in if you possibly can. I mean, I'm not going to force you to do that. But the reason I say that isn't because I want your money. It's because I want to be able to get these out to you before Christmas hits. I want you to be able to experience these, whenever you're sitting with the family or you meet up for Christmas, you're exchanging gifts. I want you to be able to wear some of these in those moments.
So Marlo says she doesn't see the website. Marlo, he is both on Instagram, X Harmony, right? X and Harmony, as well as his site is XARMONY.net. So you can find him there as well. If you go on his Instagram, which is where I found him, the stuff that he has on there, it has like the pictures and all of that kind of stuff, which is really cool. But you get to communicate with him, and I think that's gonna, in my opinion, just like today, talking to the perfumer, understanding the historical value of what he's and the creativity that goes into it. That I didn't even get that part, to be quite honest with you. I ordered everything. Once he said Loki and Odin, I was done.
I really like Pam. Like, I'm not gonna lie, she vibes with me so much. The first conversation we had, I was like, "Who is this?" I didn't know who she was at all, and then I looked it up, and I'm like, I thought she was a celebrity because like she had like these pictures that were like these headshot profiles with makeup, glamour artists, and I was like, "Who?" And then I see that she's in a veteran's uniform, like she's in a military uniform, so she's a veteran, and I'm like, "Who is this?" And then she's like, I want all of these. Send them to me. And she made an order like within 5 minutes of talking to me. I didn't have to explain anything. And so it was great. But so right now, my website isn't able to take payments. It's a process. I have to send in all kind of information. As I said, I'm still recovering from losing the house, so bear with me. At the moment, I'm accepting Venmo and PayPal. And you could directly message me on Instagram to get a set or a full-size bottle or a roller or whatever you want. And if you're ordering things in bulk or you're making like a bunch of orders, I am very reasonable and I will most likely set you up or hook you up It's the holidays. My last name is literally Christmas. So I'm gonna hook you up. You know, like I'm in red, okay? I'm Santa's little helper over here. Don't worry. I got you in good hands.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna Trill thought the same thing about Pam. Nuh-uh. I just like changing my hair a lot.
No, so the website's up. It's there as something to just prove, you know, like I'm a legit serious brand.
Yes.
But at the moment, the shopping function on it's unable to be used. So somebody asked about it in the comments.
Yes. So we're gonna get off in just a few minutes. I want to thank you guys so very much. Oh my God. Noel Trill, thank you so very much for doing this. I asked him to do this yesterday, y'all. Yesterday. And he was so gracious and like I said, humble to do this. And I really appreciate it. I really do. And I really appreciate all of you for taking some time off for your Sunday afternoon. I know it's like everybody's getting ready to shop and stuff like that. So I really do appreciate the fact that you guys did, you know, spend some time with us. We had like, I think maybe we have 19 people in the chat. Well, I mean, people came in and I didn't see. Hold up.
Wait, I know I'm seeing a lot of chatting going on.
Yeah, I miss. Okay, so Kia Yummy411, she's also on a content creator. She's a perfumer. She's out of the Baltimore area.
Oh,
yes. And
so I have a Discord. Tell her to message me.
Okay.
Well, message me, Kia.
Yeah. So I am so glad that you guys joined us today. I am thrilled. Again, all the information for his site for Harmony is Harmony with an X is now. Wait a minute. Hold up. I forgot to ask. Is that merch you're wearing? That t-shirt? Is that merch? Is that merch? Can we get some merch? Okay.
Yes.
All right. So merch and perfumes will be check him out on Instagram. You can either go to his page, which is Noel Trill or Trill Noel, but the X Harmony, look for that. And that's where you can DM him, talk to him. He's very interactive on Instagram. He likes our posts. He talks on our posts. He's really cool. So please support young Black man doing his thing. And it's a great, these fragrances, I love them. Okay, I do. I am normally a beast mode type of gal.
Oh wait, Pam. Sorry to cut you before. Can you also mention the thing that you're saying about the shipping and how fast?
Yes. So guys, I ordered this. We were chatting Sunday around noon, somewhere around there. Okay. I ordered like 5 minutes into our conversation without even knowing notes. Point blank period. My stuff was in Wednesday. I
don't play around.
So, and I didn't pick it up because I was busy Wednesday afternoon. So I went to the post on Thursday. I sat in the car and I shared this with him last night. I didn't share it with you guys. That video that y'all saw when I was advertising, when I did the little thing that night, I popped it out. It was Thursday night, I think it was. I sat in the car in front of UPS. They were already shut down for about an hour and a half. I created a video. I was sniffing in the car. I was sniffing my arm. I couldn't wait. I kid you not. And as soon as I mixed, because I didn't know he didn't want me to mix, so I mixed Cleopatra and Odin Sleep, and I texted him immediately and go, oh,
yeah, I remember this moment.
Yes.
I remember
I was in the car like this.
So I'm gonna be
messaged him. Yeah.
I'm gonna be 1,000%
like,
honest.
When she messaged me that,
huh? So when she messaged me that, I was like using the bathroom and I'm sitting there and Pam's just like, you know, like this. What is this? What did you do here? I was like, what? I was like, hold up. Let me get out of here real quick. And then I called her after that and we started talking and it was like, she was just like, I have to do a show with you. We have to talk about this.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I'm down.
I wasn't waiting. So I'm telling you guys, at least try, even if I know a lot of us have different tastes. So at least try the sample packages. And tonight, after we get off and this is posted, whomever answers those 2 questions, the first individuals, I'm going to be reaching out to you via Instagram to find excuse me, to find out what your favorite fragrances are and what you want. And I'm going to purchase you guys, 2 of you, the Rollerball, which is a 10 milliliter of whatever fragrance you want from Harmony.
Clio and Primal are not available in rollers.
Oh, that's right.
But
those
all
are
of the other
that are
ones
not
are
available. Right. So with that said, guys, again, thanks so much for hanging out with us tonight. I really appreciate you all.
Yeah,
thank
everybody,
you so very
this was
much.
cool. This is my
we
first
will
one.
see you guys. Hopefully, please, if you're not subscribed to my channel, please check my channel out. Click the like button for this live and look at my videos. Sometimes I'm long-winded, but I'm a lot of fun. All right, guys. Bye.
Thank you so much, Pam. I really appreciated this opportunity, and I'm glad that you introduced me to all these people here today.
Yes, they're gonna love you. Okay, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Have a good night, everyone.